Всем привет! Welcome to my channel. This is the first video of a series of videos that I hope to do where I document my progress learning languages. I got this idea because I think that the way in which we learn a language changes depending on the language. What we need to focus on changes depending on the language, and so I wanted to show all these little checkpoints that I have in the language and maybe help people who are learning that language. So, today I want to talk about Russian. I've wanted to learn Russian since I was about 14 years old. I think it is one of the most amazing languages in the world. I love Russian culture. I don't give a shit that it is considered unpopular to like Russian culture right now. Whenever I met Russians abroad, they're great people. I don't get why they have such a negative reputation. Anyway, I absolutely love Russian culture. So, I'm very excited to be learning this language, even though it's very intimidating. And my first impressions with Russian language is that it's right in the middle between a Western language and a non-Western language, just like how we see Russia as in the middle between a Western culture and a non-Western culture. So, how is it in the middle? Well, in my experience learning languages, there's basically two approaches that I take. One is if I'm learning another Western language, and the other is if I'm learning a non-Western language. For example, when I was learning Spanish, I did not spend a lot of time studying the rules. I basically figured the rules are pretty similar. A lot of the vocabulary is similar, so what I need to do is just speak, and I'll make a lot of mistakes, but I'll be able to communicate, and then I'll just refine my language that way. And that's what I did. I studied a handful of rules, and pretty quickly I could have a conversation. And then I just improved by having conversations. It's a really, really fun way to learn. And it's much easier and much more motivating and all that. Then there is non-Western languages, like particularly Asian languages. And I learned this other strategy when I was studying Thai. I tried to learn Thai in the same way that I learned Spanish, where I would just learn a handful of vocabulary and then just try to talk. And then I realized that does not work, because Thai has all these central ideas that are very important. Ooh, there's a cop. Hope he doesn't care that I'm talking on my phone. There's a lot of centralized ideas in Thai that if you don't have a good grasp on, your Thai is always going to suffer, which is why there's people who live in Thailand for 20 years and they cannot say anything because they learn a word, but they don't really learn the word. There was a guy at my job who lived in Thailand for, 5 years or something, and he thought that the way to say I love you was Chan Rakun, which is incorrect. Chan is for women when they're saying I, Pom is for men, and he also got the tones wrong. All that, which is, whatever. But the point is, if you don't understand these very foreign and very important ideas of Thai, your Thai is going to suck. So I spent a long time not speaking, not communicating, and just really slowly, really meticulously learning the basics of Thai. So that's my strategy for Asian languages, is I don't communicate much and I just try to nail down a foundation and then I go from there. With Russian, it's very much in the middle. I thought that because Russian is foreign, it has a lot of new ideas and then a lot of new vocabulary. It's in a language family that I've never really studied before, the Slavic language family. I thought, okay, I need to nail down a foundation and then I can start speaking. But what I found is that these rules are there's so many of them that there's no way that you can get to that point like I did with Thai, where it's like, okay, now I think I have a foundation, now I can keep going. With Russian, I found it's better to learn a handful of words, very small, like I thought I would learn 50 verbs, I couldn't do it. I learned about 10. And then from there, I would make really simple sentences. I am reading a book. Я читаю книга. I think that's correct. And then, I don't know, what else do I know? I love you. Я тебя люблю. And so on and so on. And I found that kept me motivating, and I didn't have to keep trying to go up this impossible mountain of learning all the rules once at a time. So I find that with Russian, it's nice to just grab a tiny piece of the language and be, ooh, okay, I know how to say that, and then start to express yourself. And so this is my first impression with Russian, is that it's you can't just try to communicate immediately, and you can't try to just study the foundations. You have to learn how to communicate little by little and all that. And with this new discovery, I'm having a lot of fun with Russian. I'm sure that if I start lessons with a tutor in 2 days, and I'm sure that I will not sound good at all. But I think that with this little bit of competency that I have, my motivation is very strong, and I'm gonna keep going. So anyway, that is my introductory video to Russian. Hopefully video 2 will be in Russian, in poor Russian, and I'll tell you more about what I have learned. So, спасибо и пока.